The article, Growing Up in a Never-Ending Crisis, Youth Transitions and Aspirations in Portugal, is authored by me and my colleagues, Eunice Macedo, Elsa Guedes Teixeira, and Helena Costa Araújo. In this article, we focus on the impression that young people have of living in a continuous crisis. More specifically, in this article, we looked at the impact of the 2007-2008 financial crisis, which affected Portugal tremendously, followed by the health, political, and social crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In other words, we analyzed how this crisis affect the aspirations of young people regarding transitions to further education or the labor market. Even though our study does not contemplate the geopolitical crisis that we are currently living in Europe, which generated a refugee crisis, caused massive inflation rates and social unrest, these recent developments confirm our argument that young people in Europe are living through a never-ending crisis. Our data indicate that precisely due to this feeling of living in a constant crisis, young people adjust their life and educational aspirations accordingly. Quite often, they instrumentalize education, seeing it as a simple platform to find a better job. As we unfortunately know from educational research, this instrumental view of education is also visible among parents and educational institutions alike. Moreover, our data indicate that in such a context marked by recurrent crises, neoliberal discourses of individual responsibility for one's success, both in education and in life, become more prevalent and are interiorized by young people who hold themselves responsible for their failure, unaware that their struggles are more linked to systemic than to individual issues. Our findings, therefore, raise enormous concerns about the current generation of young people who seem to be growing up in a time of never-ending crisis, in which the only certainty is, in fact, uncertainty. Such a context limits their own aspirations and transforms their transitions into moments of significant pressure and anxiety. This issue requires, therefore, urgent attention on behalf of policymakers and all education actors, since it can seriously jeopardize recent efforts towards the creation of more inclusive learning environments marked by student well-being, development of key competencies, and the formation of active and responsible citizens.